This is just Bob Bowman, and I'm coming with another video. And the topic of today is we are guilty until proven innocent. Now, as everybody know at this point, Tory Lanez was found guilty of shooting Meg the Stallion. And one thing about the case that really rubbed me the wrong way was that there was substantial evidence that proved that there was a reasonable doubt that he did what was being accused of. However, in spite of there being reasonable doubt, he was still found guilty on all charges. And what this tells me is that we as black men, we need to be more careful. There's a gentleman who has his own page. It's called Authentic Perspectives, and he was saying something that I totally agree with, where he said that we can't afford to be in certain situations. And we as black men, we need to understand that we need to vet the people that we allow around us. And that's including family and people that we known for years. Because we could find ourselves in situations where it will totally destroy our lives just because of who we associated with. Now, there are times when people need to get away from us, and we need to be able to allow them to get away from us because we have certain situations and circumstances in our lives that we need to repair and improve on. And I know that back in 2020, when I was going through my situation, a lot of people backed away from me. And I was sad about it, but now that we're getting closer to the year 2023, I realized just how much of a blessing it was that I was isolated and I had a chance to get to myself and had a chance to reflect on a lot of things, reflect on a lot of mistakes that I've made personally, and to improve my life based on what it is that I needed to do. And this case, I'm hoping that Tory Lanez, he will have the time to reflect on things and look at what he can improve. Unfortunately, this looks like he might have to serve some prison time, which I really do not, like wish that upon anybody to have to go to jail. Um, as far as us, we have to protect ourselves. We have to protect our environments. We have to protect our emotions. We cannot let our emotions get the best of us. If somebody's trying to provoke us or trying to start stuff, there's nothing wrong with leaving the scene. Nothing wrong with leaving the area. I don't care if people want to call you a punk, people want to, like down talk you, belittle you, make fun of you for walking away. Sometimes it's best to walk away from a situation. And like I said in the previous video, when I said that it's better to be honest with women, I stand by that totally 100% with this. He should have just been honest about what he was doing from the beginning and what was going on. And it's really tricky messing with two women that are friends and that they friends and you go ahead and do that. The situation wasn't good on any party in this whole scenario. It doesn't look good for Megan. It doesn't look good for Tori. It doesn't look good for the other lady. And we know that there was witnesses that had an account that's different from what the verdict was reached on. And there's nothing that can be done about it. Like, this is something that we need to pay close attention to as far as where society is heading. Now, I'm concerned about the safety of the everyday average man, who is doing his best to improve himself and maybe has made some mistakes in this past because people can just gather up information, whether it's true or false, and then try to put most of us in jail. And that's where it's looking like it's heading towards, or that it's a possibility that this can happen. And I don't want to like speak it into existence, but we have to be mindful and aware of what's going on around us, because they could be plotting. They could be looking for any and everything about each and every one of us individually in order to put us in prison and to have us locked down. Because honestly, I think that's the ultimate goal, is to keep us locked in wherever we at, in our houses or in the jail cell, where we can't go anywhere, we can't do anything, and we're totally dependent on the government at that point. And so, with that being said, we have to be careful. We have to be mindful now. We have to understand the environment that we're in now, and that it's not based on skin color at this point. It's based on who has the power to do what they can do and who has the control to do what they can do. And if you find yourself in a situation where you have no power and no control in society, you have to really be careful at every move that you make. You have to be very careful of the people that you be around. And I understand that in life you have to take risk, and sometimes the risk is just what it is. It's a risk you have to take, and you have to count the cost of whether those risks are worth it or not. And if it doesn't seem like it's worth it, don't do it. If it seems like, hey, I need this done, it might be a little bit risky. Just know that if things doesn't work out the way that you think that is going to work out, you could end up in jail. That's something that people that's in the drug game deal with. That's something that people that deal in, doing criminal behaviors, embezzling, robbing, conning people. Uh, it's a risk with everything. And now, just living and breathing in this society, we have to understand that it's a risk in that as well. Just trying to be a normal, average, everyday, hardworking person. And I'm hoping that this court case opens up a lot of people's eyes. Honestly, the relationship between the men and the women of the community was already damaged beyond repair. But now I think that it's not even salvageable at this point, because honestly, I don't want to take a risk at going on dates, not only because of losing money, but because of false accusations. And it doesn't seem like it's worth it at this point. Like, getting the passport, going to different countries, and dealing with the women over there seem like a better option to me now. Just looking at the environment, the climate that we live in at this point. And it's not to bash women, and I'm not saying that all women are like that. I'm just saying that the risk of dating here isn't worth the reward at all. Like, being in a relationship isn't worth the reward that the risk is. Like, I would rather take my chances going someplace else and dealing with those people than dealing with the people here, because it's totally not worth it. I totally don't want to go to jail for something that I didn't do or been accused of doing. And the court of public opinion right now, it is stronger than a court of law. And that's the reality of it. Like, court of public opinion right now is super strong, that the court of law is being heavily influenced by it. We see this now. We have people that's able to put up information about others like in real time, and nobody questions how they got the information, like TMZ and New Breed. He did a live stream where he talked about what's going on with TMZ and how they operate, and how it's very shady and very seedy, but nobody pays attention to that, and they've taken over social tabloid. You understand what I'm saying? So we are in a new era as far as everything goes, as far as how social media works, how rumors go, how all this stuff go. And we all are in danger, including myself. Even me posting these videos put me at a slight risk. Somebody will say, oh, this dude did this and this is his page or whatever. And if court of public opinion is that I'm a bad person, then most of the people are going to believe it, and I see how my interactions are with people in everyday life is kind of shaky. Like, I went to the mall today and I went to a store. I just wanted to check out some stuff. Like, I had bought a few items for myself, but I went to a shoe store, checked out some shoes that were there. It was a pair that I liked, but I was like, I didn't want to spend that money at this point. And as I was leaving, it was a young lady coming into the store while I was leaving out the store, and I wasn't really paying attention to her, but we happened to just look each other in the face for a brief second, and she had like a really bad attitude and did one of them. Like, I was trying to look at her when I wasn't, I was just focused on leaving out of the store. And so I was just like, what was that all about? But it's all about perception. It's all about how somebody might think, even though it's totally not what it is. But we live in a society where people are going to have their own assumptions about other people, whether they know them or not. And it's getting to the point to where it's going to be hard for certain men and certain people in a certain caliber to be able to function normally out in public because of the court of public opinion. If it keeps going the way that it's going, I mean, I'm ringing an alarm of what's happening. Like, a lot of people see what's happening, but they're not really paying attention to it. Like, it's already a stressful environment, as we know. But it's going back to them days of Jim Crow, from what I'm seeing. This is like a new Jim Crow. But at the same time, like, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be taken advantage of because of court of public opinion at this point. Kind of like how it was back in Jim Crow, but it's not going to be based off of skin tone. It's going to be based off of position of power and authority at this point. So, for the men that watch this channel, I am just letting you know that you have to keep your head on a swivel. You have to be cautious. You have to be aware of your surroundings. You got to be aware of the people that you're around. Don't let yourself be around people that have a tendency to have drama and chaos in their life. If the person is a good person, but they happen to be in a bad position in life, sometimes that person needs some time away to where they can clear their mess so they can be a benefit to be around you. And there's nothing wrong with separating yourself from somebody so they can work on themselves. That's what is needed more in this life. And if that person can't understand it, they really need to be left alone until they can figure out for themselves why it is that everybody is separating themselves from them. And, we still got to be respectful to each other. We still got to show like love, and even if it's from a distance, support from a distance. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm advocating. I'm advocating being careful with your moves, your actions, who you date, who you allow yourself to be around, because it's getting to the point to where just being around the wrong people. It's always been that way, but it's getting even worse now, where being around the wrong people, being around people, allowing yourselves to be in relationships, intimate relationships with certain people, it could cost you not only your freedom, but it could cost you your life eventually. But this is just Bob Bowman. I just want to say that piece right quick. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. Peace.